What's up, guys? It's Solo back on another video here on Solo Hoops. And yesterday was a very bad day across the NBA because two of the best players in the league have major injuries. Okay, the first one we're gonna get into is Ja Morant. He got a season-ending injury. We're gonna get into this more obviously in this video, and also Tyrese Halbert. And so Ja, they didn't even play a game. He just had an MRI done. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Tyrese Halbert suffered a major, well, I'm not gonna say major because we still are not sure the severity of it. Maybe you do by the time this video is out, but I don't know right now. We don't know the exact severity of the Halbert hamstring injury, but it looked pretty bad. I was absolutely stunned when I got this noti from Shams. At least I'm pretty sure it was Shams. Maybe it was Woj, maybe it was someone else. I'm pretty sure it was Shams though. Like, I was not expecting. The Grizzlies were not playing a game. I was just doing, I think I was watching the national championship. I was maybe eating something. My phone goes off. It goes off a couple times. I look at it, Ja Morant out for the season. I immediately rush to my fantasy basketball group chat. I rush to talk to different people, tell them like, yo, this is insane. As you guys can see, Sham said Grizzlies, Ja Morant will undergo season-ending injury surgery for a labrum tear in his shoulder. Now, I'm like 99% sure that he finished the game 2 days ago when his last game was, and there was no problems. And the Grizzlies knew, Ja Morant knew, everyone knew in the Grizzlies organization apparently, that he had a shoulder problem. However, I guess on their off day, he went and got an MRI done. I don't know, just a little check-in, whatever, checkup. He got an MRI done, and it turns out that it was actually a really bad shoulder injury. So the Grizzlies decide to shut him down for the entire season, which I feel like, I mean, obviously it's crazy news, but it's not like the biggest of deals because the Grizzlies are one of the worst teams in the league this year. Obviously, there's a lot of bad teams. You got the Wizards, you got the Spurs, you got the Pistons. And with Ja, the Grizzlies are actually not bad. They're actually pretty solid, but still, like, they're at the bottom. It was gonna be tough for them to make the playoffs anyway. So they're just gonna tank, I guess, get a solid draft pick. I assume they have their draft pick. And I also did see that Ja should be ready for the start of next season. He should have a full recovery from this surgery by the start of the next NBA season, which is crazy because, I mean, how far away is that? That's 8 months, 9 months. So we're gonna have 8 to 9 months with no Ja Morant. Obviously, he's one of the biggest names in the sport. He's one of the best players. So sucks to see, one of the best stars in the league isn't going to be out there anymore. Now, if we take a look at the NBA standings, the Grizzlies are the third worst team in the West, and it's not particularly close. I think Ja played 9 games this year, and I want to say the Grizzlies were like 6-3 in those games. At best 7-2, at worst 5-4. I think they were above 500 when Ja played. They were very bad without him. 13-23, as I said, one of the worst teams. I guess they're going to be tanking for next year. Hopefully get a good pick, have Ja fully healthy, and just start over fresh at game 1, because obviously Ja missed 25 games, put them in a big hole. Obviously, you also wonder a little bit who's going to step up now. Marcus Smart is going to probably play, a lot more minutes. He's going to have a way bigger role because he had some injuries this year. So he was missing even when Ja was out. He was also out. So now Marcus Smart's going to have a bigger role. Desmond Bane is going to go back into that role that he had at the beginning of the year when Ja missed 25 games. He was scoring like, I don't even know, 26 points per game. Jaren, I mean, he wasn't going too crazy when Ja was out, so his role should stay about the same. And then maybe you'll see some more minutes from a guy like Jacob Gilyard. He's like 5'9" or whatever. He was getting some minutes when Ja was out. Also, Vince Williams, potentially. You'll see some minutes from him, some production from him. And I wonder how the Grizzlies approach this. Do they, play Jaren and say Desmond Bane less minutes because they're obviously not going for the playoffs? Do they kind of tank, like fully kind of shut down their players? I wonder how they do this, come the end of the year. And then the second piece of heartbreaking news, if you want to call it that, is obviously the Tyrese Halbert news. If you guys don't want to see injuries, then cover your eyes, or it's not that bad. He just slips. But yeah, let me show you guys this. If you guys didn't see it, he eventually had to be carried to the locker room. It was just a very bad scene. So right here, he drives in and he just slips. He does a full split, and immediately, I think the announcers were even saying like, this is not good. That looks like a groin injury. I thought it was going to be a groin injury too. It looks like it's going to be a hamstring injury after, he went to the locker room and more people were looking at it, but immediately everyone just stops. The crowd goes silent. He starts reaching at his, I don't even know. At first it looked like he was reaching at his knee. obviously in a lot of pain. He couldn't put any pressure on it or whatever. He couldn't walk. And one more time right here from a different angle, he just slips, his leg fully extends out. And yeah, that is wow. And yeah, right here you can see they were carrying him out. He put a towel over his head. Apparently people were saying he was hysterically crying. They put a towel over his head. You can see Buddy Hield just looking on like he knows this is bad. Everyone just very concerned. The crowd was silent. They start clapping, which I don't know. I think I'm probably kind of weird for this. I was talking to somebody about this. I was like, if I break my leg, and obviously Halbert didn't do that, but I'm just saying, if I was playing in a game and I got hurt, I don't know if I would want everyone to be clapping. Like, I don't know. I always thought that was a little weird. I guess they're showing support, but like, imagine you're in a game, right? You just break your leg. You're in a lot of pain. You're crying and everyone's just like kind of cheering. I don't know. I guess I know what they're doing. They're supporting, but I don't know if I would like that. But yeah, I think you could probably see some people in the crowd. Nope. Okay, you can't. I was going to say, but yeah, they were clapping for him, but absolutely terrible scene in Indiana. After Tyrese went to the locker room, I guess saw some doctors or some trainers, whatever, Shams put out this tweet. Indiana Pacers say all-star Tyrese Halliburton has suffered a left hamstring strain. The big thing with this is what is going to be the severity of this strain, because he could be out for a week or his season could literally be over. So as you guys can see, Woj said tomorrow, well, today when you guys are seeing this, he is going to be getting an MRI done. So even possibly by the time I post this, we might even know the severity, which I don't know. I guess I'll comment about it if I have any comments on it, but hopefully it's not too bad. If we look at this tweet right here, again, they show the play. We don't need to see the video, but it's a doctor right here, Dr. Evan Jeffries. So shout out to him. He said if it's a grade 1 strain, then he'll be out 1 to 2 weeks. If it's grade 2, he'll be out 4 to 8. But if it's grade, I guess he meant to say grade 3. I don't know. It says 2, but it'll be 12 plus weeks plus surgery if it's torn off the bone. I don't think it's torn off the bone, but that would be insane. My guess is that it's going to be like 4 to 8 weeks. I'm gonna say 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not a doctor, so I should probably just stop talking on this subject, but it looked pretty bad. He couldn't put much pressure on it. I would be shocked if he was playing a week from now, even 2 weeks. I'd kind of be shocked if he was playing. Obviously, we don't know how much time he's going to miss. So how much of an effect is this going to have on the Pacers season? They are currently in 6th place. And oh my God, they are tied with the Heat, the Magic, the Cavs, and the Knicks. There's a 5-way tie. 5 teams are all 21-15. Yo, that's crazy. This is my first time seeing that. That is insane. There's no way that that's ever happened before. But the Pacers, I feel like, are lucky because the East is not that loaded, where you have the Bulls and the Nets, which aren't really scary. I feel like even with the Halliburton injury, like the Pacers should be able to manage to stay in front of the Bulls and the Nets. So at worst, the Pacers fall to 8, maybe 9. And this is assuming Tyrese is going to miss like 4 weeks. There's really, I don't really see the Pacers falling out of the play-in. I mean, I hope Halliburton's back come playoff time. I think he should be. But let's say that he doesn't play the rest of the regular season. I feel like the Pacers still would make the play-in. Obviously, the Pacers are going to need Halliburton if they want to do anything in the playoffs. If they don't even have him for like the play-in game, like they would probably lose to like majority of these teams. They maybe could beat the Nets, but like the Bulls would probably beat them. The Knicks, if that was a play-in, would beat them. The Cavs would beat them. So, I mean, they're going to need Halliburton, obviously, but luckily the East is pretty weak. So I think that they won't fall too much with him being out. Obviously, with Tyrese Halliburton out, you're going to need some of these other players, especially guards on this team, to step up. So which players are going to step up? Obviously, you got Mathurin, you got Buddy Hield, you got Bruce Brown, you got Aaron Naismith. They are going to have to give you some more offensive production. But the 2 guys that I'm mainly looking at is TJ McConnell, all the way down here, plays 15 minutes a game. That number should skyrocket. He's probably going to be playing, 28 minutes a game now. I don't know. I would start TJ McConnell, although I think they might start Nembhard because out of the second half or whatever, out of halftime, they opted to start Nembhard in place of Tyrese Halliburton at point guard. Although Nembhard was like in foul trouble, so he like didn't even play that much. He kept fouling and he didn't play a lot. So we saw a lot more of TJ McConnell. I would prefer to start McConnell, although it looks like they might go Nembhard. Regardless, Nembhard and McConnell are going to get a lot more minutes. They're going to get a lot more usage in this offense. And then luckily for the Pacers, they have guards that can score. You got Mathurin, you got Buddy Hield, you got Bruce Brown, Aaron Naismith. So they should be fine. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean? They should be able to just kind of coast and maintain a spot in the play-in. If they stay in the top 6, that would be kind of insane to me, especially since we just saw there was a 5-way tie for technically, what is it? The top 5, top 4. The 4th seed is tied. 4 through 8 is literally all tied against Tyrese Halliburton's Pacers, who managed to get a win, by the way, 133-131 over the Celtics. There was no Jason Tatum in this one, so it's not really the Boston Celtics. And Jaylen Brown went off. He went for 40 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, somehow a -1 plus minus. I know you guys can't see that, but that's a little shocking since he went for 40. I thought that it was going to be a Derek White game. I guess I tried to be a little too cute. I tried to be a little too crazy with my pick or whatever. I made a pick on Underdog Fantasy. You guys know I use that code solo. You know what I'm saying? Quick plug. But I don't know. I thought it'd be a Derek White game. He'd step up, go for like 20, 30 points, and Jaylen Brown would chill because they had his line at 28.5. So I was like, all right. I mean, that's pretty high. That's pretty high for Jaylen Brown. I know Tatum's out, but you know, maybe Brown goes for 26, but he went for 40. So he proved me wrong. Then we had Terry Rozier for the Hornets in an overtime game, although I don't even think he scored in overtime. So pretty much all this is in regulation. 39 points. I think he had 7 threes. He literally couldn't, well, he did miss from 3, 54% from 3, but it seemed like every 3 shot was just going, and I guess he shot 7 for 13 from 3, 3 boards, 8 assists. Terry Rozier has been going off for the Hornets, especially since LaMelo Ball has been missing time. I'm recording this while the Suns are still playing, so Kevin Durant might go for 40. He was kind of on pace for it. I don't know what he's going to end with, but obviously we always talk about the best performers from last night's games. KD might have a really good performance as well, but I'm recording this in advance before that game even ends. Some of you guys haven't. We're on the road to 2K subs, and click the video pop up on your screen right here if you haven't seen it yet.